Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat down to do something important? Studied, worked, wrote something, and actually finished it without checking your phone, zoning out, or just giving up? Think about it. Because if you're struggling to remember, that's not laziness. That's not a lack of discipline. That's something happening inside your brain that nobody ever explained to you. And today, I'm going to explain it. See, most people think focus is a choice, like you just decide to concentrate and boom, you're locked in. But here's what neuroscience actually says. Focus is not a decision. Focus is a biological state, and your brain has to physically enter that state for you to experience real, deep concentration. The problem is, for millions of people right now, that state is becoming harder and harder to reach. Not because they're weak, not because they're stupid, but because their brain has been quietly rewired without their permission. Here's what happened to you. Every time you picked up your phone and scrolled, every time you switched between tabs, every time you got a notification and looked at it, your brain released a tiny hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical that your brain uses as a reward system. And at first, it felt fine, normal even. But over time, your brain started to associate that constant switching, that constant novelty with pleasure. And anything that required you to sit still, stay with one thing, push through difficulty, your brain started labeling that as pain. You didn't lose your focus, your brain learned to avoid it. And this is the part that hits different when you really understand it. Your brain is not broken in the way you think. It's actually working perfectly for the environment it's been trained in. But that environment, it's completely wrong for what you're trying to do with your life. You're trying to build something, study something, create something, and you're doing it with a brain that's been conditioned day by day to run away from the exact thing that building, studying, and creating requires: sustained, uncomfortable, deep attention. Now let's go deeper, because there are actually two systems in your brain that are constantly fighting each other when you try to focus. The first one is called the prefrontal cortex. This is your rational brain, the part of you that sets goals, thinks long-term, makes plans. This is the part of you that says, I need to study, or I need to finish this project. The second system is your limbic system, your emotional, instinct-driven brain. And this part doesn't care about your goals. It cares about survival, pleasure, and avoiding discomfort. Right now, in this moment, your limbic system is winning, and it's winning because you've accidentally trained it to. Every time you gave in to distraction, you strengthened that system. Every time you picked up your phone when things got hard, you told your limbic brain, you're in charge. Keep running this show. And it listened. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Researchers discovered something called the default mode network. This is a network of brain regions that activates when you're not focused on anything specific, when you're daydreaming, mind-wandering, just existing. And here's the shocking part. This network is always on in the background. Even when you're trying to focus, this network is trying to pull you out. It's responsible for that voice in your head that randomly says, hey, did you reply to that message? Or what are you going to eat later? Or remember that embarrassing thing you did in 2017? That's not random. That's your default mode network doing its job. And in people who struggle with focus, this network is overactive. It fires more often, pulls harder, and makes it genuinely difficult to stay present with what you're doing. So now you have two problems: a limbic system that's been trained to seek distraction, and a default mode network that won't shut up. And you're sitting there wondering why you can't just focus. But wait, there's a third layer to this, and this one most people never talk about. It's called dopamine resistance. Here's how it works. When you constantly flood your brain with easy dopamine, social media, YouTube shorts, fast food, constant stimulation, your brain does something smart but destructive. It starts reducing the number of dopamine receptors. Because you're getting too much too fast, your brain literally dials down its sensitivity to dopamine. This means the things that used to feel rewarding start to feel flat. Reading a book feels boring. Working on a project feels pointless. Even things you used to enjoy start to feel kind of empty. This is why you can sit there watching videos for 2 hours and still feel unsatisfied. This is why you open your phone, scroll for 20 minutes, and feel worse after. Your brain is chasing a dopamine hit that it's become too resistant to actually feel. You're not bored because life is boring. You're bored because your brain has been numbed. And all of this together is what's happening when you say you can't focus. It's not one thing. It's a system that's been slowly, quietly, almost invisibly broken. And the worst part is, nobody designed this way on purpose to hurt you, but the apps, the platforms, the feeds, they were absolutely designed to keep you hooked. And your brain, doing what brains do, adapted. It adapted in a way that's costing you your potential, your time, and your peace. So the question now is, can it be fixed? Yes, it can be fixed, but not the way you think. Because most people, when they realize they have a focus problem, they go straight to willpower. They say, okay, from tomorrow, no phone, no distractions, I'm gonna grind. And it works for maybe 2 days, 3 if they're really motivated, and then they crash, and they feel worse than before, because now they've added guilt on top of everything else. The reason willpower fails here is because willpower is a prefrontal cortex function, and your prefrontal cortex, after years of dopamine flooding and distraction training, is exhausted. You can't use a tired muscle to fix itself. You need a different approach entirely. The first thing you need to understand is that your brain rewired itself slowly, over months and years, and it will rewire back slowly too. There is no overnight fix. Anyone telling you otherwise is selling something. But the rewiring is absolutely real, absolutely possible, and the neuroscience behind it is rock solid. It's called neuroplasticity. Your brain physically changes its structure based on what you repeatedly do. Every time you resist a distraction and return your attention to the task, even for 30 seconds, you are literally building new neural pathways. You are physically reconstructing the architecture of your focus. This is not motivational talk, this is biology. So here's what actually works. The first thing is something called dopamine detox, but not the fake version you see on social media, where people sit in a white room doing nothing. The real version is simpler and harder at the same time. You need to deliberately create gaps between you and easy dopamine. Not forever, not cold turkey, just enough to let your brain's sensitivity start recovering. Start with your mornings. For the first 30 to 60 minutes after you wake up, no phone, no social media, no YouTube. Just exist. Drink water. Sit with your thoughts. Let your brain wake up without immediately flooding it with stimulation. This one change alone, done consistently, starts shifting your baseline dopamine sensitivity within 2 to 3 weeks. The second thing is something called attention training, and this is where most people skip because it sounds boring, but it is the most direct path to rebuilding your focus muscle. Pick one task, set a timer for 15 minutes, work on only that task.
When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back. Don't fight the distraction. Don't get angry at yourself. Just notice it and return. That act of returning, that single moment of catching yourself and coming back, that is the rep. That is you training your prefrontal cortex the same way you train a muscle at the gym. And just like the gym, you start small. 15 minutes today, 20 next week, 30 the week after. Over time, your brain builds the capacity to sustain attention for longer and longer periods. The third thing is environment design. And this one is underrated because people want internal solutions to what is partly an external problem. If your phone is on your desk while you work, you will check it. Not because you're weak, because your brain is responding to a cue. The phone is a cue for dopamine. Remove the cue, reduce the urge. Put your phone in another room. Use website blockers during work sessions. Create a physical space that your brain associates only with deep work. Over time, your environment becomes your focus before you even start. The fourth thing, and this is the one that ties it all together, is sleep. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focus, attention, and self-control, is the most sleep-sensitive region in your entire brain. One bad night of sleep can reduce your prefrontal function by up to 30%. That means on poor sleep, you are literally operating with a third of your focus capacity gone before your day even begins. Most people who think they have a focus problem actually have a sleep problem underneath it. Protect your sleep like your performance depends on it, because it does. Now here's something I want you to sit with for a moment. Everything I've described today, the dopamine resistance, the overactive default mode network, the limbic system hijack, none of it is your fault. You didn't choose this. You were handed a brain built for a slower world and dropped into one of the most overstimulating environments in human history. The fact that you're struggling is not a personal failure. It's an almost inevitable response to an insane amount of pressure on your attention system. But here's what is your responsibility. Now that you know, now that you understand what's actually happening inside your head, you have a choice. You can keep running the same patterns and wonder why nothing changes, or you can start small, start today, and begin the slow, real, permanent process of taking your mind back. Because your focus is not gone. It was never gone. It's buried under layers of noise and habit and overstimulation. And every single day that you choose depth over distraction, silence over scrolling, discomfort over escape, you are digging it back out, one rep at a time. Your brain built these patterns, and your brain can break them, but only if you decide that your attention is worth protecting, that your time is worth something, that the life you're trying to build deserves the version of you that can actually sit down, lock in, and do the work. So here's what I want you to do right now. Before you close this video, before you go back to your feed, just pick one thing, one task, something you've been putting off, and give it 15 minutes. No phone, no tabs, just you and that one thing. That's it. That's the start. And if this video made something click for you, if it explains something you felt but never been able to put into words, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because there are millions of people walking around thinking they're lazy, thinking they're broken, when really they just need someone to explain what's actually going on. Subscribe if you want more of this, because we're just getting started.